Excellent. Okay. Good morning, Mayor. Thank you for joining us today. Today, we're talking about your new or your first and only new Chief Race and Equity Officer, a new role. We haven't had one of those before in our city. Tell us a little bit about Kim and about her new position.
Sure. So the city in 2020 authorized the creation of a Department of Race and Equity, but it fell to me to recruit the first ever Chief Equity Officer. And I'm pleased to share with San Diego that we've hired Kim Desmond. Kim comes to San Diego from Denver, where she stood up a similar office in that city and was very successful in doing so. This is a down payment on our commitment to attempt to make decisions here at the city with an eye toward opportunity for all of our residents. I think generally we've understood that there are unequal outcomes in our city, and that's been really made much more apparent during the course of the pandemic. What we want to do is make sure that as we develop policies and budgets and other priorities, that we're doing it with an understanding that every San Diegan should benefit from these decisions. And that's exactly what this office and what Kim is going to be charged with doing.
Awesome. And so exactly that, we saw a lot of things happening in our city during COVID that we had not seen before, that brought to light a lot of inequities in our city. I mean, obviously in all parts of the country, but here. So what are some things, if you know, that she has in mind? Like, what are some plans that she specifically has in mind that can help us with this problem in our city?
Well, maybe if I can start with an example of where we used equity well and how that can maybe inform a challenge that we have that every San Diego cares about. During the pandemic, even before we hired Kim Desmond, we used equity to inform our vaccination efforts at the city. And so what you saw was us placing our vaccination efforts in communities with high levels of infection and low rates of health coverage. And so you saw pop-up events in South San Diego, Southeast San Diego, and in Mid-City. And what that did was help increase the level of vaccination, reduce the level of infection, which allowed us to leave the purple tier and reopen large portions of our economy. That's the power of equity. That's the power of really focusing intentionally our limited services and resources in the areas of highest need, and that really everyone ends up benefiting in the sense that everyone was able to go back to work, be able to reopen shops and businesses, reopen our schools. So that's the power of equity. Where that can play out going forward on an issue of large-scale concern is around our road repairs. Many San Diegans are rightfully frustrated by the conditions of our roads in all neighborhoods of the city. And when San Diegans talk to me about potholes in their community, they're exactly right to be angry. But what some of them don't understand is that there are neighborhoods in the city that don't even have paved roads. And so when we're talking about how we go about repairing our roads, and we must do that, we have to understand that some neighborhoods are not starting in the same place as others. And that doesn't mean that we don't help every neighborhood. Surely we do. But when we take our limited resources and understand that we have to make sure that the neighborhoods that don't even have paved roads get paved roads, and neighborhoods that have potholes get potholes addressed, you recognize how equity can help inform a different outcome, which again results in everyone benefiting. I'm sorry, you're on mute.
She can sit and look at the whole picture and really pinpoint those areas that need the help the most and formulate a plan to target those areas.
That's exactly right. Whether it's in the formation of our city budget, to new policies and ordinances that are introduced for the council's consideration, it's going to be a game changer to have someone in the room that really looks at that and asks the question, how does every San Diegan benefit from this particular decision? And it may not be that we can serve everything everywhere the way we want all the time, but it's going to be important to make sure that we have those questions asked, that we have answers to those questions, and drive more equitable outcomes for everybody. Again, this isn't about helping just one group of San Diegans. It's recognizing that we all benefit when every part of our community has opportunity access to opportunity. So I suspect that you will see a lot of this play out in some of our programming through our libraries and our rec centers, through our summer youth employment programs. There are a myriad of ways that we recognize that people in one neighborhood don't always have the same access and opportunity that other neighborhoods have. And we, as a city, should endeavor to consider that in all of our decision making and make the best possible decisions that, again, benefit every San Diegan, every neighborhood.
So kind of continuing some of the things you've already started, like the parks, accessibility to parks for all the kids in all of our communities, especially like in the summer, trying to get them outside, kind of maybe continuing some of those programs that you started.
You got that exactly right. We have been trying to do that in my administration, but without the benefit of an expert like Kim. And so while some of this is evident when we talked about when we have our summer programming at our parks and libraries, we of course identified those communities with the highest rate of poverty, the areas where we believe that children are less likely to be able to access some of the summer camps that many of our children are able to access, but are not accessible in those communities. And the city steps in with more robust programming to make up that difference. Those are sort of easy to identify and resolve challenges. Kim is going to use her expertise to find those other places where maybe we're overlooking opportunities to really give people a better shot at a better future. And that's what this is about. And you mentioned the parks plan, our parks master plan, the first time in the city's, in 60 years, the city's updated this plan. It really lays bare inequities in our city. We are one city, but we have really two park systems. And San Diegans know this. They see that when they go into certain neighborhoods, the parks look a particular way. They go into other neighborhoods, they look another kind of way, meaning to say less good. And then there's certainly neighborhoods where there are no parks. It is that variation that we need to work to try and resolve so that really every neighborhood has a quality park with the right equipment, with all the accessibility that they would expect. That Parks Master Plan was developed and ratified with an eye toward equity. And this is going to be our standard operating procedure going forward with the help of Kim Desmond.
That seems like a good place to